The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at the college, and tonight we're going to talk cross country, as we've invited a couple of student athletes to join us later in the show. But after the break, I'll be joined by head men's and women's cross country coach Danielle Basilico.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in the studio is head men's and women's cross country coach Danielle Basilico. Welcome to the show, Angela.
Thanks for having me back, Geoff.
Yeah. Now we're year two. You came in last year. You're kind of rookie coach. What was that experience like for you?
Sure. Well, it was very nice to be able to inherit a very motivated squad last year. Certainly a lot of talent came in, so there's always nice when you can have the good cream of the crop to kind of come into. This year, it's been excellent to kind of have the comfort level with the athletes, have a recruiting class come in as well, group of freshman athletes that kind of sign up to run for me. The leadership's been great, and we're going to talk to Ben Reynolds tonight, who's really taken the men's team under his wings, and it's been awesome this year. Both squads are running way faster than last year. Our performances are better. We're excited to head into SUNY and outdo last year's performances, and hopefully get a couple of squads here that could finish in the top 10 in the Atlantic region this year.
Now, was there, year one, year two, you said you inherited some good recruits. Of course, that would have been a carryover from the previous. Matt was working. Sure. Now he's over with just track or whatever. But you two guys work together anyway with recruits. But, was it easy, hard? You graduated from here. You were a member of both programs. But was it hard that first year, maybe kind of getting your feet wet a little bit?
Sure. There's always a transition period, getting comfortable working with Matt. It's one thing to have that relationship with him as his athlete, but certainly in a professional environment. First year, just getting used to recruiting at this college, working for this college, being a part of this athletic department. There's always that first year was definitely a transition period, and I could tell the difference already with our teams where this year we were able to start our season. I was in my comfort level. We were able to hit the ground running. It certainly has meant better training, more comfortable environment for our teams, more productivity out of our office. So absolutely, getting the year under the way has been huge.
So you say that probably with the second year, you got a lot more done. You were able to get some pre-planning, get some things out of the way, so to speak, so that you weren't backed up too much, so you could, like you said, hit the ground running.
Exactly, and collaborating with Matt to have the perfect schedule this year set up. Just a lot of those little details. We were really able to plan those out a year in advance this time around, learn from any of the mistakes that we made last year, and it's just all really led to what's so far been a much better season.
Right, now you alluded to earlier, your first recruiting class, pretty exciting. A lot of the freshmen men and women are both running in our top 10 anyway, but some of them are even in that top 7, so they're actually scoring for us. Why don't you talk a little bit about the women first and then go to the men?
Sure. The women's freshman class, Brianna McLaughlin and Katie Kuzmic have been a couple of freshmen that have been great for us. They've been in our top 5 pretty consistently this season. Caitlin Krug and Mariel Genovese are a couple other freshman women. Christine Connolly, another freshman woman that have actually all made our top 7 at some point this season. So it's been a crazy year because we've had about 10 or 11 different women make our top 7 based on the meet. So it's been a lot of fluctuation there, but it's been good because we have a huge class of talented women, everything from runners who are going to run 800 meters for us come track season all the way up to the 10K. So we've filled a lot of depth there, and it's just been helpful for us because as we head into SUNY where we can race 14 athletes, there's a lot of depth there that's going to help us pick up any slack in case one person can't have a great day. So it's been huge. On the men's side, it's a little bit more of a difficult transition for the guys to make as they move up to a 5-mile race at the college level. Training is quite a bit tougher to get prepared for that. But Sam Kane, local guy over from Bainbridge, as well as Andrew Brahanecki from Maine Endwell High School, those have both been guys that have made our top 7 this season, and they've been able to handle that transition a little bit better. A lot of the other freshman guys are doing great. They're going to have great track seasons, but it certainly takes a while to develop that first season of cross country moving up to that longer distance.
Right, coming from high school, but certainly as you guys train, because we know that your training program is quite specific, it's quite extensive, and you guys really do a great job of with the workouts, balancing the time off and the the kind of, I guess you'd say, tapering periods for bigger meets. Talk a little bit about that and how you hope our team will react, and because we're going to be competing in the SUNY Championships this coming weekend, so let's talk about that a little bit. Sure.
Well, with 43 runners on our total roster there, it's quite demanding to be individualized all the time. Fortunately, we have 5 coaches on our staff, including myself, and that allows us to really be able to give everyone attention, from our top runners to our athletes that are developing. So we're able to really pay a lot of specific details there, and that's certainly been a big process for us in the recruiting, is letting athletes know with a staff of 5, there's not very many cross-country programs in the country that have that many coaches coming to practice every day and helping you get better. So that's been a big part of what's allowed us to do that. We are in the tapering phase. We're getting peaked out for our championship meets. The schedule was set up in a way where we're going to be able to do that. We've just had the conversations where these meets all up until now have been developmental, build the confidence, and just get us ready for the championship meets where we have the confidence, we know what the races we can run, and we're coming off of a meet where everybody ran awesome at Connecticut College, so it's going to be good for us, and everybody's fresh, they're going to be recovered. Some of them are happy that a lot of those tough interval workouts are behind them, and now they can feel their legs again. But it's a tough sport. You got to really train on the edge in our sport. It's a very competitive conference, which is a good thing. It's nice being in the SUNY, because if you can get yourself to the top of this conference, that means you're one of the best programs in the country. But certainly they're happy to be recovering and rested and getting to the big races.
Right. Now, when you say our conference overall, on the women's side, we have 4 teams that are in the top 10 in the region, including Oneonta at number 10. We've been kind of hanging there all year. We were as high as 9, I believe. And then the men are just outside that top 10.
Been on the edge of it all season.
Yeah. Now, how important is it for us to be, ranked all year long, even though, we'd like to get to that point where we compete with, Geneseo and Cortland? And
Sure, definitely. We've had the conversation with our athletes where, in our sport, the NCAA will look up to those 5 teams at the regional meet for an at-large criteria. So being in the top 5 is essentially being nationally competitive in our sport. And certainly getting ranked in the top 10 means you're on the edge of that. And to have a women's team that was 11th last year and a men's team that was 16th last year, both teams being into the top 10 this year has been a goal that we've set for ourselves. And then from there you develop into a program that's nationally competitive. Getting the respect early is certainly nice, and we've had that conversation with the men's team where we kind of had, since we were a little bit behind last year, we have to earn that respect and to move into that ranking. And we've beaten some of those teams that are ranked in the top 10. I think we've got to do it at regionals in order for a lot of the coaches to give us that recognition. The women have been ranked virtually all season long, having been 11th last year. So you kind of have to earn it before they'll rank you, and that's our goal. Is just we in our team we talk about the good thing about cross country is you get to race everyone in your region. Unlike some other sports where you need those rankings because you're not going to play everyone. In our sport, there's going to be a regional meet. It's much more important to us to finish in the top 10 than to be ranked all season and to fall short of the championship meet. So we see the rankings, we look at them. It's nice to be recognized early on in the year, but what happens at regionals is really going to be all we care about.
Right. Now, when you're building your schedule, what kinds of things do you look at, because your training is so specific and you try to get workouts in at certain times during the year? How do you build that schedule? Do you base it on what teams are going to be there, or do you just base it on maybe course difficulty?
Sure, a little bit of both. If you want to get better, you have to race good teams, and that's certainly a big part of it. So looking at the meets where there's going to be teams that are better than us right now to go and race and to help push us is a big part of it. You know, there's a lot of things that we consider, and it brings right back to the previous question where we can really sell out for glory in September and get that regional ranking, but a big part of setting up our schedule throughout the year is to make sure that we aren't just hammering races week in and week out through September and early October, and then when the championship season comes around, we're fried. So a big part of it is developing a schedule that's going to allow our runners to be in their best fitness when the end of the season comes around. But certainly getting to the meets where the big teams are at is certainly a part of it in order to get better. And our last 2 meets in our schedule there with Connecticut, and before that going up to the pre-regional meet at St. Lawrence, we've got to see some really good Division III competition and teams that are better than us, a lot of teams that we've beaten, and just gives us the chance to be right where we need to be to improve.
Right. Now, with such a large squads, on both the men and women, I mean, how do you determine who travels? I mean, does everybody travel every week? Does everybody run? Do you say, hey, you 5 stay this week and not come? I mean, how does that work?
Sure. Virtually every meet that we've gone to up until this point, we've taken the full squad, all except for one. And basically, we just see where our runners are at. Again, sometimes with our men, we might look for a shorter race for some of those freshman guys, so they have an extra meet to transition from the 5K high school distance into the 8K distance in college. Things like that we're looking at. We want to bring our athletes to the meet where they're going to be able to be competitive, and that's something that we consider. As we head into our championship season, it's certainly tough because as we head into SUNY, we can only race 14, and beyond that, it's only 7. So there's always some tough decisions there to be made to pick your squad, but you just got to go with who's been consistent, who's running real well at the end of the season. But no, fortunately, one of the nice things about our program here, we have so much support from our athletic department that we don't have to have stingy travel squads and such that some other programs have to deal with. So I always am very happy and feel very lucky that I can travel overnight and bring 43 runners with me, because a lot of these runners, some of them may not be our top runners in cross country, but we're going to count on them in track and field, so they still need this season to develop to score us those points in track. So we're in a good situation where our travel situation isn't as tight as some other programs.
The factors, I mean, somebody might start, I mean, some high school kids might make a quicker transition than others, but then there might be some that as your season goes along and they kind of buy into the training and the program, they kind of come at the end of the year. So ultimately, how do you decide between 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, really, because those top 10 are probably pretty solid.
Exactly.
So how do you decide on those other 4?
That's exactly, exactly a good question, and it is something we deal with. And Sam Kane's a very good example of that, because we had that conversation. He had a huge race for us, finishing as our 7th man at the pre-regional meet, and up until then, he had been one of our bottom guys. And after the meet, we did have a conversation where I said, I'm glad that he was someone that didn't question the training along the way. He stayed bought into it, did what I asked him to do, and now as we get into our final meets, it is paying off for him. So certainly they have to stay motivated, and sometimes it's tough when you're not doing well right away in the beginning of the season. Makes those decisions tough. You just have to go with, it's just a coach's eye, I think. You're out there, you see them every day, who looks like they're recovering. It's just kind of an instinct sometimes.
Well, it has to be, because I mean, you got to be able to say, I mean, you know your runners, and you have to kind of say, they're looking pretty good right now, and maybe they might come in 10th or 8th or 9th and knock one of those other runners out and help you guys score or place higher, which certainly we think will probably be. We got to be in the top 4, I would think, this year in our conference anyway. I mean,
that's what we hope to do on both sides.
Now, when you look at the grand scheme, I mean, certainly the conference is important. In the region, though, you say we have to get into that top 5 to have a shot at going to nationals. Is that typically every year? I mean, just so people that don't know maybe how that works.
Sure. With the way of cross country, how it works is in our regional championships, they'll look at the top 2 teams who finish. Well, it all comes down to one race. Those top 2 teams are going to get an automatic bid. They're going to travel to the national championships. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th place teams will all be looked at by the NCAA, and they'll decide if they want to take 3, 4, or up to 5 out of our region. So if you can theoretically finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th at the meet and not know for a couple of days. If you're traveling after that, they will take some individuals as well. So it's quite an elaborate selection process.
I'm sure it is.
And a lot of the teams and a lot of the athletes don't know when they leave that meet if they're going to make it to the tournament. So it's definitely stressful. But yeah, as I said, getting into the top 10 this year is the first step towards that for us. on. To be able to do it on both sides is important as well, to show that we're not just a strong men's team this year, a strong women's team. It's to have consistent recruiting classes on both sides, to kind of just keep building up and getting better every year. And that's the goal. We're going to run as fast as we can at the end of the season, and we'll see where we finish. We can only control what we're doing.
Right, and we certainly know that you and Matt together, and along with some top runners who collegiately aren't in our program, helping out these younger runners to help them develop, and we certainly know that you guys will be definitely there when the time comes. We know that. So I'd like to thank you for coming by tonight and talking to us about cross country, and we certainly wish you good luck in the last, I guess you'd say, about month, right?
Yep, about a month to go here.
All right, well, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me, Geoff.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Danielle Basilico for coming by this evening, and after the break, I'll be joined by our next guest, junior Ben Reynolds.
You're so lost. No, I am not, man. Dude, I dropped my phone. No, the road. Whoa. Okay.
How would you like to save your life from an ugly, reckless driving death? Don't answer yet. There's more. Act now by slowing down, and we'll guarantee you complete satisfaction.
That's awesome.
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Whoa, Andy, slow down.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is junior men's cross country runner Ben Reynolds. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thanks, Geoff.
Thanks for coming by. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I grew up around Binghamton, New York, about an hour south from here. Went to Oneonta High School, where I have some teammates that came with me to Oneonta. Grew up there running a lot, and here I am.
Now, what's your major?
I'm a biology major.
Biology major. What are you hoping to do with that?
I actually have aspirations to be a collegiate coach someday. Cross country, track, distance running is really my passion. That's what I'd like to focus on.
Now, certainly now, because Angela mentioned earlier that you've kind of really taken a big leadership role in our men's team. So do you feel that being kind of that vocal leader for our program will help you, in your endeavor to be a coach?
Oh, definitely. All throughout high school, I was a captain as well, and that's kind of where I fell in love with the whole running thing and leading a team to accomplish a goal. And here at Oneonta, I actually brought my co-captain from high school as well, John Longo, and we've been leading the team this year along with a bunch of other upperclassmen. Really young team, 7 freshmen and 1 transfer this year, so that's been a lot of fun just leading them, and I've definitely gotten a lot out of it as far as going for the coaching side of things in the future.
Now to you, what does leadership really mean to you as far as, what would your definition of being a good leader?
Definitely the first thing is leading by example. I try to really set a really good example for the younger guys here as far as doing everything at practice, showing up, giving my all every day, as well as the other side, off the track, doing all the little things, nutrition, sleep, recovery. Those are the biggest things, leading by example, and then vocally, just getting everybody motivated to run well every single day, just focusing on the process of things, and then eventually leading up to championship season, running well there.
Right. Now, certainly buying into the training program that Matt and Angelo have put forward. What kind of training program is that for you guys?
So basically, we start off with the summer, and that's just basically a lot of easy running, which is basically the easy thing to do. Get better at running by running.
Right.
So we try to do as much of that as possible. So setting us up for preseason coming in, and then we have a pretty tough block of training there where we get a lot of quality, fast running in.
Right.
And then we kind of lead up to the championship season, which is our goal throughout the season to prepare for that and to run well at SUNY X in the regional meet.
Right.
So once we get there, then it's all about recovering and kind of taking it easy, more of the easy running side of things again,
right.
With some quality mixed in.
Now, Angelo, we talked about the schedule and how he creates the schedule and tries to build on each meet, whether it's a tougher course or maybe you guys are doing a certain type of workout this week and maybe this course suits you guys and whatever your workout you're doing. Do you look at the season that way? Do you break it into thirds? Do you just, how do you look at the season when you enter?
Definitely I kind of look at the season as a whole. And really the championship season thing is just the cherry on top. And that's really what we're going for every day. not really thinking about it, but subconsciously just getting what we need to be done every day on a daily basis, coming to practice and doing the right things there and then doing the right things after practice. Right. Just controlling that throughout the season. Obviously, we have a lot of fun. We came and won our first 2 home meets, which is definitely is great for us as far as motivation. And but I mean, all throughout that period of time, we're still training very hard, and we're really focusing on and running well at SUNY and regionals again. Now,
our home course, Fortin Park. You guys train and run out there a lot. How do you like that course?
Love it. We're out there probably 2 times a week when we're training hard and doing the faster running. So, I mean, as far as the course goes, it's the fastest course we run on all year usually, so it's a good place to get a PR early in the season and then just try to match that throughout the season. I know we had, I think maybe every single person on the team ran a PR, if not close to it, early in the season for the AK, which was really good for us. Right. So Fortin Park is a great place to train. It's a great place to run on soft surfaces and stay healthy.
Now, sort of building confidence in the younger runners, being a leader in our program, and of course, does it help having athletes from your hometown high school coming to run?
It definitely is. I think we have 6 guys from our section and 4 from my high school team. So it's kind of, I get a hard time about that all the time because I kind of just like brought them along. But it definitely is. I know the guys very well. I've either raced against them, competed against them in high school, or I was teammates with them. Right. So that's definitely a big step up for us. I mean, it's not, they aren't uncomfortable when they come here. They kind of already know what's going on. We also had a week in the summer where we got together and we trained at my house, where we got some of the freshmen in here just so they could, when they come to preseason, they're not scared out of their minds. Yeah. So they can kind of get a feel for the program before they get here.
Right. Now, so you look at yourself as a year-round leader. I mean, if you're doing these things on your own, really, back home, which is really what a leader does, and like you said, leading by example. So certainly, that for you, that's just what you're doing. I mean, is it?
Yeah. I mean, it keeps me on a straight path, definitely. I mean, I have to pretty much do the right thing all the time. Right. Because I'm a 3-season athlete here. So I mean, definitely, and it translates to everything else. I mean, schoolwork. When we finish practice, we go eat, and then we go have a big group that goes to the library. So I mean, it's kind of a year-round thing, both semesters. Just kind of keeps everything on track. But definitely, yeah.
Now, having John as well with you, you push each other to do better.
Definitely.
Is there any, rivalry or anything? I mean,
yeah. It's we're roommates as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, we spend 24 hours a day together almost.
Yeah. But I mean that in a fun way. I mean, I don't mean you guys are trying to just beat each other into the ground. I mean, I think it helps to have somebody who's as passionate as you to be running alongside and to be able to push you to be better as well. I mean, you guys must just work off each other all the time.
Yeah, it really is. It was great to have him. Just because we're so used to each other. We ran together 6 years in high school, and now he transferred here last year. And it's just great to just feed off him. And he definitely keeps me going. I mean, we have our battles, but in the end, it's all fun, and it's really good for us to have each other.
Any predictions as we go into the final half of our championship season? I mean, we've got SUNY and the regionals. Where do we want to finish?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to some of the captains earlier this week, actually, and I had in my head second at SUNY and top 10 at regionals, which I think is very doable for us. Johnny said top 3 at SUNY definitely. As far as the top 2 teams are nationally ranked right now. And in the Atlantic Regional, there's 6 teams that got votes this week nationally. So for us, top 10 would be phenomenal, and hopefully better. Our 9th place finish of 2009 would be great, especially with the young team we have. We have 6 out of the top 7 that will be back next year, which is just great for us.
Well, we certainly hope that you guys continue to build and continue to stay healthy, and then we'll look for those finishes coming up in the next month.
Yeah.
Thanks for
very
coming
much,
by.
Geoff.
All right. I'd like to thank my guest, Ben Reynolds, for coming by this evening. And after the break, we'll have sophomore Danielle Kennedy.
WUOW 104.7 FM is the region's premier radio station, offering award-winning programming from National Public Radio and Pacifica Radio Networks, giving you the chance to become more informed about the arts, information, and entertainment from around the country and around the world. WUOW is your community radio station. Join us and support the sound.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is sophomore women's cross-country runner Danielle Kennedy. Welcome to the show, Danielle.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you very much for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a sophomore here at Oneonta, and I'm from a very small town in Rockland County, New York, Stony Point. I went to a Catholic high school, so I've been in Catholic school since I was very little. And I graduated with only about 100 kids, and I was the only girl on my cross-country team in high school.
Wow. Geez, so you're running with boys.
Yeah, they weren't very good, so I held up with them.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it gave you an opportunity to compete, right?
They helped.
Yeah.
They helped.
Now, did you play any other sports in high school?
I did. I played soccer when I was younger.
Okay.
And then I ran track also, and they pulled me into cross country when I was a junior.
Yeah.
So.
Now, for us, you're a three-sport athlete. You compete in our cross-country and our track and field programs, and you're turning out to be our top runner this year with our women's cross-country team. As a sophomore, you know, what kind of pressure is there for you to be our top runner?
It's hard. It's difficult because I've never been a top runner before. So for the first time, I don't know what to do. I just want to be a leader.
Right.
And I just want to show that with hard work and dedication that things pay off. And if you do the right things and you take care of yourself, then...
Right. Now, we talked, when we had Ben on, we talked about a little bit his leadership role because, of course, being a junior, he certainly has taken it upon himself to try and lead our men's program. Right. I mean, a sophomore, it is tough to be a leader because you do. I mean, we have Lauren Burnetto, who's a SUNY, Hall of Famer from last year, all-conference type athlete. I mean, how hard is it to try and establish yourself as a leader within a program that does have some upperclassmen who have done so much for us?
It's difficult because the freshmen, they're saying, oh, she's only a year older than me. Right. So it's, but the freshmen are really good. They look up to all of us. They look up to you if you're a sophomore, if you're a junior, if you're a senior. They don't care because for them, you're older than them and you run well and they look up to you. Right. But I think that all the upperclassmen, whether you're a sophomore, a junior, or senior, we all work together and we try to incorporate the freshmen with things and we do things with them and we teach them things and we hang out outside of practice and we just do things as a team. And I think that when they get older, they'll be just as good as leaders as we are.
Right. So you feel like passing on the knowledge that you've gained even in just 1 year. I mean, what kind of a transition was it? As you said, I mean, you were the only girl on your high school cross-country team. And so what kind of a transition was it for you last year to come here? And now you're on a team with all these women who are very good runners and, track and same. What was that like for you?
It was a big shock. I had never been on a team with so many girls before, so I didn't know how to have all these girl teammates because I was used to running with guys, and the runs were a lot different, and you can say different things, and you can relate more to if you have a problem. Maybe they're going through the same problem, But I definitely like it a lot better. It's a lot more fun, and I like having a team with a lot of girls, and I like having a big squad because there's more people and we're just a big family. Everyone's happy. Everyone helps each other. There's a lot more opportunity for you to learn different things. You learn how to deal with different types of people and everyone adapts to different training levels too. So you can kind of say, well, maybe you can try this and, it helps if you bounce ideas.
Now, of course, we have, Angela was on and said that we have 43 runners combined between the men and the women. I mean, so you could say it's like really one very large family. But you travel on the buses together, you train together, you're everywhere kind of, if you're not just doing something specifically with the women or the men. How important is it to have that kind of, that family type atmosphere with both programs? I mean, you said you enjoy it with the women, but how important is it to have it with the men?
I think we incorporate a lot of things with the guys too. I mean, I know if we do, if we're going to do training rub downs or anything like that, or if we're going to, hang out afterwards, or if we're going to go to the library, we usually go together after hours of practice. I know a lot of us sit at the library and we do homework together, or we eat dinner together, or we eat lunch together. We travel in packs sometimes. We're always together. So I think that the guys and girls do mix as well. And I know the guys do a lot of things with the guys too, and they bring the freshmen into their...
Right. Now, you mentioned library, going to the library and studying. Certainly academics is an important part of the overall experience here, even as a Division III athlete. I mean, obviously the most important thing is we want you to graduate on time and go out and be successful. How important is it as you're a top student athlete, incorporating that academic side of it? I mean, how has that been for you, that transition as well?
It's a lot of pressure because I know not only does Angela want us to do well, but my parents at home all the time, whenever I have an exam, my mom calls, Did you do well? How'd your exam go? How'd your speech go? How did this go? How did that go? But I think that being an athlete, you're kind of this type of person who knows how to handle work, school, practice, and you have really good time management skills. I think that athletes are kind of bred to be those kinds of people.
Now, we actually talked a little bit about that field hockey when we did our field hockey show. One of the student athletes mentioned, something about time management, and I asked her the question. I said, do you feel that athletes are just better at time management because of all the things they have to juggle? You're going to practice, you're going to class, you're traveling, because we have our 2 home meets for cross country, but in track season you guys are always on the road.
Right.
So do you think student athletes are just better at time management?
I think we are.
Yeah?
I think that we have to be.
Yeah.
It's not that we are. I think it's just the situation that we're given. Because if you're not, it's hard. It's very easy to fall apart. I know now it was midterms. I had exams. I had a speech to give for one of my classes, and I was freaking out. And I know some of the freshmen had told me how they were really worried about their midterms and what was going on. So I said to them, sometimes you just kind of need to take a break and just sit in your room and cool down. But I know time management. I know Matt and Angelo stressed that also in the beginning of the season, that here's your schedule, plan in time for this, this, and this, and if you have that done, then you're golden.
So now our team is doing quite well. We've been in the top 10 all year long in the region. Certainly, what are you looking for in the last month of the season? We have 2 championship meets, the SUNY Championship and the Regional Cross Country Championship. So what are you hoping for?
I have really big hopes for SUNYACs and regionals. And last year, women finished 4th overall. And this year, I would really love to see us finish top 3. I would be ecstatic if that happened. And as far as regionals, we were 11th last year. So if we can crack that top 10, I think we'll be very happy. I think that's a good goal.
With a young team, that'll certainly, I guess you'd say, give us the impetus for next year with a lot of runners coming back. So. Well, we hope you stay healthy, and we certainly thank you for coming by tonight.
Thank you.
And good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Geoff.
Well, I'd like to thank all my guests tonight from the cross-country program. We had Danielle Kennedy, who we just spoke with, and we had Ben Reynolds from the men's team, and, of course, head coach Danielle Basilico. We'd like to remind you that you can follow cross-country for the rest of the season. They have 2 big championship meets coming up. www.oneontaathletics.com, and of course you can always get us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for joining me this week, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.